I got up early this morning to, because I wanted to, one, print out the litigation thing, so, okay?
Thank you.
And because we're talking about this, Dan the money man, and, but my wife, Sally, said, oh, I've been thinking. Now, normally that's a red flag. And I'm trying to get ready, and I'm trying to appear like I'm paying attention to her. For those of us that are in relationships, we know how that is, right? And are you listening to me, she says? Of course I am. You know, running around trying to get ready, and doing my stretching, because I stretch about 20 minutes every morning. And I got an idea. When I'm been thinking compounded with I got an idea, I'm in big fucking trouble. Anyway, so she's come up with an idea, because we're going to the North Pole in the new year, after the seminar, and so now we can jump from balloons over Lapland, and we can do this, and we can do that. She's pretty adventurous, not as adventurous as I am. But today is our final day, and I know I still have a couple of you to see, and then I'm seeing some of you additionally. How was I heard some of the people going up in the snooker room.
Yeah, I'm not very good at snooker.
No? But I used to be very good at snooker, I'm not anymore. We had when we brought that snooker table up, you see the staircase, and you know the staircase is like this on the way up. So how do we get the snooker table up? Well, the engineers have probably got it figured out. It's in 3 700-pound slabs. But then the trick is to level it and make sure that there's no seams or creases or whatever. And when we did that 30 years ago or 29 years ago, there were guys that's all they did was set up snooker tables. And at that time, Britain was mad for snooker. And and they're still pretty mad about it, you know, the World Championships and all that stuff. But that's one of the only countries in the world that follows snooker, and you can watch snooker on the BBC. You know, and the tournament is, they watch it for hours. Not dissimilar to cricket. Apropos of this, the first slide, if I do what I've always done, I'll get what I've always gotten. The fact that you guys are here and ostensibly taking a verbal beating from me, really pointing out things that if not on the conscious level, on the subconscious level, you know about yourselves. That you're not as shall we say, mentally tough or as strong, certainly not like Decina, the Spartan guy, as you might think. Now, for those of us that have wives or significant others or partners or spouses, whatever we call them, they're supportive of us, but just remember, they're supportive of us not because we're Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're supportive of us not because we're the Incredible Hulk. You know, the opposite sex normally aren't as tough, or we say, and don't man up, but that's not my experience. The real tough sex are females. If it was up to us to have babies, the population of the planet, instead of having 7.3 billion, it'd be about 50 million. And for those that have come from big families, you know, I've seen it happen 3 times, and 3 times. Once was more than enough, and I've seen it happen 3 times. Pulled all 3 of my kids out, and my ex-wife was a tough. She didn't have an epidural, didn't take any drugs or anything like that. It's hard for me to imagine that going through that. But they're the real tough ones. And the truth of the matter is, the most successful and the people that get the QLA program the best are normally women. Because they separate their ego, they don't think with a head that's between our legs, and they get the job done. there'll be ego issues that come up. It's like the guy I told you that gave away 40% of his deal. He wasn't gonna do that to get the deal, and even though it went from a $500 million deal to a $1 billion deal, he wasn't gonna do that. He just said, fuck no, fuck him. And whereas a female would have given 70% of the deal away to get the $1 billion and lose control, whereas a guy just wouldn't. And I even asked you the question, you know, and a lot of guys said, you asked me 5, 6 different ways. Well, can you do this and not lose control, and can you do this and not lose control? The guys are always concerned about losing control. The women are never, ever, ever, not one fucking time has a woman brought that up to me. That's a graduate alumni of the QLA program. But what does that tell you, Mark? I'm asking the guy that ostensibly thinks he's a macho guy. I'm asking you, Mark.
Well, it's a couple of things. I think one, the reason you worry about control is because you don't think you're going to get paid. That'd be my biggest issue. If someone was offering me 500 million and say, give it for, I'll go fuck it. Yeah. I think it's the faith, and also, like I say, the ego. Definitely the ego. And I think that's the main thing would be for me, would be the fact that I wouldn't get paid.
Trust.
And the ego, definitely the ego. And I said something.
I'm glad you said the ego with you, okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Brian?
Trust and ego.
Well, why are women more trusting?
Better intuition.
And they do. Female intuition is much better than ours. Because somehow the coding or DNA, whatever, is they have more faith. They have more faith. And since supposedly Fidel has more faith, religious faith, than anybody in the room, you'd think that this would be an easy fucking deal for him. Now, notwithstanding he has 2 degrees in engineering, you'd think, okay, in fact, your degrees in engineering are a kind of a dichotomy from your faith in a higher power. But no matter how easy it is when we're out here, and you're going to have this, and the reason I start with these slides today, no matter how easy it might be, never accept a short-term solution for a long-term problem. You're going to have short-term solutions that seem easy, maybe too easy to get what you wanted to get done quickly. And if I hear about it, and if you put them in your weekly report, I'll be sure to make sure that we don't do that. But I can't force it. I don't have a gun to your head, because some people will, it'll be so enticing that they'll do it anyway. But we're given, and I don't want to get religious because I'm not that religious, but it's like the devil tempts us. Because some of you will get a real opportunity to do something within the scope of what you want to do quickly when you get out there. See, people will want to do stuff with Brian, or people already come to Marcus, and now that you know Marcus about a week, it's hard to believe anybody fucking come to Marcus. But they come to Marcus, and when you IPO, and when you this, and when you that, and he can't spell out fucking IPO. He thinks IPO has 2 letters in it, you know? Yet, they'll come to you because they're going to see a difference, that you're different now. And the people that never knew you before aren't going to know that you were a nerd, cunt, fuck before. And they're going to think you're powerful, big fucking hitter. They're not going to know that you were just a nerd cunt 5 weeks ago, or 9 days ago. So you're going to trick fuck them. And you're not going to say, Dom's not going to say, no, I'm just a former wealth banker, a nerd little shit, and I wouldn't say shit if it was in his mouth. They're not going to know. They're not going to know. They're going to see a slight difference in Rob, and he was just a good old boy before. But something's different now. Something's different now. But you'll be approached with these short-term solutions. I remember many, many years ago, I had my back up against the wall before I made any, I didn't by my standards now, I didn't make any money, but by normal standards, I had made some money. And I was gonna sell a big chunk of my company for about $500,000 at the time. Because I was having cash flow problems, or this, that, and the other thing. And fortunately for me, I was gonna sell it to a Native American reservation in Oklahoma. And they fucked me around. I was lucky. They fucked me around so much. Even though I needed the money desperately, I didn't do it. But I came pretty close to doing it. And in hindsight, I thought, $500,000, which I needed. Actually, I needed a lot more than $500,000 at the time. But I was tempted to do it. Because you all have mortgages, you all have this, you all have that. Some just like the quick fix. It's a lot easier. Now, this is the guy who's on that wall. Miles, would you just read? He sent me this for, I think the last seminar, no, this was 2010 he sent me this. Go ahead, read it.
Hi Dan, I hope all is well with you. I just wanted to let you know that I have pitched nearly 2,500 angels, venture capital, and institutional investors through the world over the course of the last 2 years. And despite the economic downturn, I'm happy to report that we are weeks away from securing 30 million of initial seed and development capital, with a potential of up to 700 million in the second round. What you said is true. If you never stop looking, someone out there will fund your deal. I'll keep you posted. Regards, Tom.
And he funded it. But the second round wasn't 700, it was maybe half that. But this is a guy that was, Bodo Schaefer and he were my interpreters when I used to do German seminars. He speaks fluent German, and he just, when I told him that somewhere, someplace, in some nook and cranny of the world, as I told you, somebody will fund your fucking doofus deal. Now, 2,500 VCs and angels looks like a lot of big numbers to you, but I've talked about people that have done 15, 17, and 1,800 in a year, 3 people that I've mentioned. And that they're big numbers, but, do you want the deal done or don't you want the deal done? And I don't want to put the curse on Brian, but Brian's job's not going to be that tough. It'll be tough for a different reason, but it won't be that tough. He's not going to have to talk to 2,500 people because he's got this pipeline. He's got a pipeline just like we're going to build for the rest of you. That's the bottom line. He has a pipeline already that he's worked at 2.5, 3 years building. So he's worked a long time building it, but now you're going to go out and build it. Some of you have something that's like a pipeline, and it's not your current business contacts. And unfortunately, your current business contacts look at you in a different way. And some of you have, a lot of contacts. Now, rightly or wrongly, my business contacts have always looked at me the same way. Can you ask Dan not to come to the second meeting? So I don't have that challenge, because normally when I call somebody or I direct you to talk to somebody, they know it's not because I want to have tea in the afternoon. It's to talk about stuff, and you'll develop your own pitch. Some of you will feel incumbent to say how your kids are, bullshit, nice weather we're having, etc. Some of you will feel it incumbent upon yourself to have power breakfasts, which I don't believe in, power lunches, which I don't believe in either. But you'll fit what you've learned so far to your own style. Because remember, there's 2 ends of the leadership continuum. There's my end, where the psychopaths are, and there's Dom's end. And these people don't know who he is, but you know what I'm talking about in here. Okay. Any questions before we sign off from YouTube?